Kudash, 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 Adonai, Elohim, Sabayath, meaning holy, 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 Lord of hosts. Yah, He, Va, He. Those four syllables could be said as a mantra. First Yod signifying the Father who art in heaven. He, the divine feminine, supernal mother who art in the earth. Va, their creation, mankind. In the beginning, Elohim said, let us create them in our image. Back to He, the divine feminine, which would be Mother Nature, or the womb of the earth, or spirits of the wind, or Ana Chokma, meaning Mother Wisdom. You know, as above, so below. The macro prosophis above and the micro prosophis below, because we are the microorganisms in the host of the Elohim, the temples and the vessels, to be a light and a reflection. So we can tap into the God particle and have the attributes so it can be manifest here on this physical plane, you know. Seek ye first the kingdom of God. Where's the kingdom of God? In you, you know. So you have to realize God is eternal, you know. Just like Psalm says, ye are all gods and children of the Most High. We are the little gods, you know, the children, the light, the reflection, those that are created in the image, you know, because we work in unison as a collective consciousness. So today I'm going to jump right into it, you know. I know I talk about this topic a lot, you know. Like I said before, I don't like to use the name magic because a lot of people frown upon it, you know. So a lot of times I say magneticism, you know. Get what you dish, you know. Basically, you know, whatever your intent is reflected on, whether it be good or bad, that is the energy that you draw into yourself. You know, if you're producing darkness, you're gonna draw in dark energies to yourself. If you're producing light, you know, balance, you know, the aspects of the creator, you're gonna draw good fortune into yourself, you know, because you're working in unison in the planet and you're implementing the law, you know. Laws, cause and effect, the do's and the don'ts, you know. And by implementing those laws, which are written on mostly on our heart and consciousness, a lot of us do them without knowing we do them, you know. You know, that's when you hear that eternal voice in you telling you something is wrong, something is not right, or you shouldn't be doing that, or I shouldn't have did that. And you have that guilty feeling, you know. That's when you realize sin is the transgression of law. So when you break these laws, you get an eternal damnation, you know. So today we're going to talk about four key things that mean the same thing. One is mathematics. The next is magneticism. The third is magic. And the fourth is miracles and how they all correlate and go together. Like I always say in all my videos, in order to find the truth, you have to find the consistency and the pattern in something to solidify it as being the truth. Because just how the Bible is written, you know how it says in Isaiah, read precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. And when you go through these biblical stories, which are, a lot of them are written, well, most of them are written in metaphors, parables, figurative language, and allegories. So the key to understanding the Bible or understanding the Bible is to be a decoder. And when you decode something, you look for the pattern and the sequence of these things, you know. So here I am. Just like the Bible will always answer itself, like I said before, there's living water, you know. You know, everything that is talked about in the Old Testament, a lot of times it's brought up in the New Testament. But if your spiritual eye is open, you can find some flaws and you can see what was added and what was taken away. Because like it says in the book of Revelation, anybody that adds into this book, I'm going to add into them the plagues in which I talked about in this book. Anybody that takes away from this book, I'm going to take away their portion from the book of life. So it was already said that that was going to happen, and you know it already happened because in 1611 Bibles, they all had the Apocrypha, and there was many more texts beyond that were taken out, but that's where you get this canonization from. Canonization means a collective group that whatever they say or see fit to fit that narrative, that is what they're going to implement. They only take things away if it doesn't fit their narrative to begin with. It's all about control. That's where you get this beast from. This beast is a system. It's a system that kills, steals, and destroys. It devours. It adds. It takes away. It destroys identities. It steals people's heritage. And it kills people's spirits. So we're going to jump right into it. Mathematics, magneticism, magic, and miracles, and how they all correlate. So let's jump right into it. All right. Formal definitions of mathematics state that mathematics is the scientific and systematic treatment and study of quantity, magnitude, multitude, form, structure, space, and change using symbolic objects to discover patterns, find solutions, determine conclusions, and establish truth using rigorous deductive reasoning. The etymology of the word mathematic comes from the Greek word mathema, okay? Meaning to learn or to think. So mathematics, it comes from the root word mathena, meaning to learn or think. To have one's mind aroused, to be wise, wide awoke, and lively, consciously. Your spirituality is kicked in, You all the way up on the crown chakra of energy fields and attributes that are within you, moving through you as energy, as we read about in the Nine Ether book. And in the book that I'm reading out of right now, it's the same author from the Nine Ether book. I had to buy both of these books. The surface, the tick. So mathema is the Greek word for where math came from, which means to learn or think. And then tick, the end of it, the suffix, shortened version of the Greek word techne, as in technique. And the word mathematics means system, process, method, art, or craft. Thus, the etymological sense of the word mathematics is the art of thinking, systematic learning, or thought process. Okay? And right here it's showing you these are modern day math symbols. These are the ancient African math symbols, So a lot of people that frown upon these symbols, this was the same, the same way that the modern symbols are today. As this book is going to tell you, they don't really exist in reality only unless you can correlate them with something that is connected to nature, the nature of things, Now, let's get more into it. Mathematics is the science that can be found in all fields of science. Thus, mathematics is the science in sciences. It is the combination of mathematics based on logic, reason, with the natural science based on the evidence and the scientific method that enables correct and accurate descriptions, comprehension, and explanation of nature and reality. Mathematical models that accurately describe the evidence experienced in the natural sciences facilitates the ability to model, replicate, and recreate the various observed natural phenomena. Mathematical knowledge cannot be applied in reality without the study of natural sciences. And conversely, the knowledge obtained using evidence and experience in the natural sciences. Remember, I told you in one of the last videos about the natural sciences will be where magic comes from. The word magic, which this book is about to break down, it's going to correlate it to all of these names that that people use on a daily basis, but don't even realize. But because when you change the name of something, it has an effect on your perception of how you perceive things. So if you water it down in a way that, makes people feel comfortable, but demonize it in another way, you know, that's the devil's job, kill, steal, and destroy, divide and conquer. So divide and conquer your perception, have you confused. He's the author of confusion. And when I say he, I'm just talking about the evil inclination, the devil is an entity that is an energy, which is a concept of an intellect of a collective group of beings. It's an essence within all of us, just like God is an essence within all of us. It's what we give to more, by the energy that we produce, the fruits that we produce. Like it says in the Bible, you shall know them by their fruits, meaning their behavior. So let's keep going. It is the combination of mathematics based on logic and reason with natural science based on the evidence and the scientific method that enables correct and accurate descriptions, comprehension, explanation of nature and reality. Mathematical models that accurately describe the evidence experienced in natural science facilitates the ability to model, replicate, recreate the various observed natural phenomena. Mathematical knowledge cannot be applied in reality without the study of the natural sciences, and conversely, the knowledge obtained using evidence and experience in the natural sciences cannot be applied without mathematics. The purpose of any type of knowledge is to use and apply it. It is the union of evidence and experience from the natural sciences with the logic and reason from mathematics that makes it possible to use and apply any knowledge obtained for the survival and well-being. Mathematics is a mental process of finding and figuring things out. Mathematics is the mental process of finding the answer to a question or the solution to a problem, something that we do every day. Mathematics is the solution form of reason or solution reason. And the mind concentrating upon finding the answer to a question or the solution to a problem. And this is what we do on a daily basis, but we're internally doing them because we are in our own minds, trying to figure these things out. But what our ancestors had that was passed down, now that we frown upon, that the answers is already there for us. So stuff that we're trying to figure out today, we was told that it was bad, so we don't even look upon it. But that's just another weapon that's used against us. So we can't overcome or overthrow our oppressors or keep them in power to keep their foots on our necks, because we are destroyed from a lack of knowledge, which is ignorance and is a low vibration. It is us at our lower self. It is us at a dead state, as a valley of dry bones. That's us lying dead in the marketplace for 3.5 days, symbolically, meaning that we are at a dead state. But as it says in the book of Revelation, that we will be risen, to everybody's astonishment, we will still live, because believe it or not, just like the laws written on our hearts and consciousness, all of this information is in our DNA memories, DNA and RNA memories that is going to be awakened. This is why this is a great awakening. Apocalypse just means that we are in a great revealing. And it says, form of reason is naturally solvent, capable of solving problems. The ability to replicate, model, manipulate, and control various aspects of nature using mathematics was known to the earliest Africans as Heka. Heka as a concept was used to represent the manipulation of the elements of nature. That's why I said the spirits of the wind, I always say I refer to as Pocahontas because they were in tune with nature, And then when the colonizers came over, they called them savages because when people always fear what they can't comprehend. And when they can't comprehend it, they put a negative light and indentation on it, because it's not their way of life. When people deal with simplicity and low vibratory things, they're at a state of ignorance. And what do ignorant people do? They say ignorant things, They give it a bad name and reputation, Because you got to think, if you're people that can't tap into these things or perform these things because you have a dead soul, or you're in your sixth ether state, your 666 beast state, that's why that system was created and designed, And I broke it down before in other videos, the 9 ether and the 6 ether. And this is going to tell you how these numbers correlate. That's how I was able to synchronize them to what the Bible was talking about in the allegories and figurative language by following the consistency and the pattern and decoding it, You got to have a very sharp eye, but it's already in your DNA. Who's already meant to do these things is going to do these things, believe it or not. So, I'm not surprised. And who's meant to gravitate to it, they're going to gravitate to it. Who's not, it's not. They're going to frown upon it and be ignorant, But if it's in your soul and your spirit, it's automatically going to activate when you hear it, It says Heka is a concept that was used to represent the manipulation of the elements. Heka is often defined as magic. Magic is defined as the practice of producing a desired effect or result by techniques, like we just heard in mathematics, which the tick means. Tick means technique that enables humans to control forces of nature, Like I told you, the spirits of the wind want you in tune with nature, Mother Nature, the divine feminine, that hey, in the Yad Hey Vav Hey, the nurturer, the womb of the earth. Just like it says in Revelation, it said that beasts pursued the children in the wilderness, and the earth opened up and swallowed them. Read Revelation 12. When it tells you about the sun and the moon being at her feet, it's talking about her, the Virgo constellation. So it's telling you, as above, so below. It always happens in the stars before it happens in the physical plane. So that's why I said the Bible is written in metaphors, allegories, and figurative language. You have to understand what you are reading, You understand it on a physical level, but you understand it on a spiritual level, It says, in modern terms, Heka and magic will be called engineering. Engineering is defined as the process of acquiring and applying scientific and mathematical knowledge to design and develop inventions that realize a desired objective. Why do you think our people have so many inventions and designs? Why do you think our people are some of the most hated people on the planet? Because they can naturally do these things because it is encoded in their DNA. But don't just hear it from me. The book is about to say this as well. It says, engineering is defined as the process of acquiring and applying scientific and mathematical knowledge to design and develop inventions that realize a desired objective. Which you see, our people have more inventions than any other people on this planet. When looking at the definition of engineering, magic, and Heka, the relationship can be seen in successfully practicing engineering, Heka, or magic depends on mathematics, thinking, techniques, finding the consistency and pattern, like I've been telling y'all all along. Let's get more to it. It is interesting to note that the etymology of the word engineer comes from the word engine, meaning skill and cleverness, and also the word ingenium means inborn qualities, meaning it's in your DNA, meaning it's in your spirit, meaning that it's already in your genetic makeup, as a children of light, a spiritual light, a Israelite, the reflection, because that's why it says ye are rich, ye are rich. Why you think Revelation 2:9 said, I know your tribulation and your poverty, but you are rich. And I know the blasphemy of them that say they are Yahudis, which means Jews, but are not, but are the synagogues of Satan. So those that steal people's heritage, add and take away, It already said these things were going to happen before they happen. So you're alive in a time to actually see them happening, But people keep putting this veil over you to confuse you, make you question yourself if you're right or wrong. Just follow the consistency and pattern. It says inborn qualities, talents, and genie, meaning to beget or produce, His only begotten son or produce his children, the only begotten son, That's what Messiah means, the anointed one, that this one was anointed, to have all the qualities and attributes to be the forerunner for those that are to come in the latter time, those elect ones that will have the same qualities, but will actually work greater wonders than he did, Given the etymology of the word engineer and the definition of the word engineer as someone who practices Heka or magic, the process of acquiring and applying scientific and mathematic knowledge to the purpose of producing a desired effect, it implies that the engineering ability is related to genes, genetics, or certain inborn quality. It is also true that the ancient Africans viewed the ability to practice magic or Heka or engineering with certain blood lineages or genetics. Salah? Now let's get back into it some more. Now we're going to go into matter of fact, let's break this down. No, we're going to go into numerology because it talks about this in the Bible as well. It talks about the book of Numbers. Now, go read the book of Numbers. Now look at it as a parable, a metaphor. Look at yourself as a decoder. You are trying to decipher this text. Now, the book of Numbers. Now, follow the consistency and the patterns and the numbers in the book of Numbers. Even the verses, and wonder why the Bible always talks about sevens or certain specific groups of numbers, because it's dealing with cycles, This information, believe it or not, a lot of this information that's in the Bible was already here before the Bible was even written. It was just multiple manuscripts and multiple pieces of text that were put together because they all correlated, from the same bloodline and lineage, But you got to realize there's been a people that's been trying to wipe you off the face of the earth, the memory of you, because you have these abilities for so long. Numerology, by definition, is any system or set of ideas, belief, or hypothesis about the relationship between numbers and reality. There is nothing wrong or incorrect about forming hypotheses and beliefs. However, when conclusions are drawn about the hypotheses and beliefs without appropriately testing them under the specific method in the case of the natural sciences, or without the rigorous deductive reasoning in the case of mathematics and the formal sciences, then it leads to the inaccurate explanations of reality that cannot be used and applied, in wasted time and energy and effort of individuals who have accepted the inaccurate explanations as truth and have attempted to apply them. Now, remember when I was going into Greater and Lesser Keys of Solomon a couple videos back, and when I went into the book, when I was breaking down planets and all this other stuff, and it kept talking about an experiment. A lot of people probably frowned upon it. It was like, oh, he's talking about experiments and rituals and all this other stuff, But you don't realize the concept of it. people do experiments every day. If you're going to be a creator on this physical plane, create anything, fulfill anything, you have to experiment. You have to know what works and what doesn't work. You have to know the law as well, the do's and the don'ts, But you learn these things from experience, trial and error, you know. It says, but numerological conclusions and explanations are based on untested, loosely tested, and poorly tested beliefs and hypotheses. It is considered as pseudoscience or pseudo-mathematics because all the results from numerological explanations and conclusions are not consistent when tested each time the conditions are the same. However, numerology, by definition, which is a belief about a numbers or mathematical object. Like I said, I even wrote right here, Book of Numbers. Relationships to reality and the essential to mathematics, but what separates mathematics from numerology is the presence of rigorous deductive reasoning and consistency. Like I was just saying before, follow the consistency and pattern. Many of the earliest mathematicians were numerologists, and many of the present day modern mathematicians or numerologists to some degree. Therefore, in the field of numerology, there does exist what could be considered operative numerology. Operative numerology would be the conclusion and explanations from the field of numerology that are consistent, testable, reasonable, and applicable. Numerology gives birth to mathematics through reason. Okay? Now, we got to get into this. It says, in terms of numerology and mathematics, the word math comes from the Greek word matheus, or mathematos, meaning to think or to learn. And the word myth comes from the Greek word mythos, meaning thought, speech, or story. Both math and myth refer to thought. Myth becomes math by way of evidence and reason. This is the forward process of human mind experiencing nature, speculating on explanations for the experience, testing the speculation from validity using evidence and reasoning. And if the speculation is proved valid, declaring a mathematical or scientific principle. Math becomes a myth by way of speculation without evidence. That's why they say a lot of stories are myth, because they haven't been fully speculated or found a consistency and pattern to prove them. And reasoning, this is the backwards process of the human mind experiencing a mathematical principle declaring by someone else without knowing the reason, proof, or meaning of the mathematic principle. Numerology is mathematic mythology and can be valid or invalid depending on the numerological principle declared using the forward or backward process of the human mind. And they said, let's consider the ancient mathematical problem of squaring the circle, That's why you see in a lot of these practices, you see circles, you see triangles, you see all they are just math equations, basically thoughts that are, just written up, to be comprehended in the physical form, just like any math symbol is. Bet y'all didn't know that, did you? Squaring the circle is the process of trying to construct a square that has the same area as a circle using only a compass and a straight edge. Mathematics represents the objective, finite, operative, esoteric qualifications science, while numerology represents the subjective, infinite, speculative, esoteric qualification science. The principles of the field of mathematics could be represented by the geometric symbol of the square, and the principles of the field of the numerology could be represented by the geometric symbol of the circle esoterically. Remember, I told you a circle is 360 degrees. What is 3 and 6? 9. As well as a square as well. As we read in the 9 Easter book before, when I was breaking down the consistency and the patterns of 9, because nines deal with numerology. And when you follow all the nines in the Bible, even Jesus dying on the 9th hour, rising on the 3rd day, which is 72 hours, 72 make 9, and going into, the ancient texts of the 72 names of the Most High, which are attributes and titles, of the divine and the divine feminine and the divine masculine, and how they both correlate and they work together in unity, and those attributes, like I told you, they deal with judgment and salvation. The divine feminine renders the judgment, and the Father who art in heaven is the merciful one. But to bring balance, they have to work together in unison. While numerology represents the subject, I think I read that already. Esoterically, in the field of numerology, the process of squaring the circle is a metaphor for attempting to make the infinite become finite and make the unknown become known, making mathematics equivalent to numerology. For example, esoterically, in the field of mathematics, the geometric problem of squaring the circle does have a theoretical solution, but the theoretical solution is considered impossible to apply a construct using a compass and a straight edge tool, because the equation for the area of a circle contains the infinite transcendental constant number pi, which would be the number. You know how you have Yah, Hey, Va, Hey in modern Hebrew. So right here, you would get that same number. I don't think you guys can see it, but it's the same symbol that is in the Yah, Hey, Va, Hey. It looks like an N. And it says equals 3.1459. Mathematically, while squares and circles are both equal in degree, while both shapes have a total of 300, well, I just said this, and I didn't even read this part yet, have a total of 360 degrees. Each, they are different in their formulas for per meter circumference and area, And I just started skimming through this book earlier, but, my spirit said that I have to bring this out, I have to add on to what I've already been saying, because everything I've been saying is just confirming itself. If I wasn't able to explain it before in a way that people could understand it or understand it on this physical plane, the Most High is going to make a way, this is my job. Like I said before, I have all the numbers and the attributes to complete a cycle, My name is James. In Hebrew, it translates as Jacob. And Jacob means Yaakov. Yaakov means the supplementer. I was born the 9th month, the 19th day, the 90th year at exactly 9 o'clock. And like I was telling you, numerology, I'm into numerology heavy, just like these astrological charts. They all deal with a consistency and pattern in the rotation of the world based upon constellation and influence that comes upon man. Just like I was born on the 9th month as well, which is, well, I just said that, 9999, but you got to realize the Virgo constellation deals with a woman, something that's giving birth to something new. It takes 9 months for a woman to have a baby, You got to think about that. All of this stuff has a meaning to it. That's why, like, a lot of people, they don't like to go into horoscopes. They say it's witchcraft. Everything that you was taught from religion that was bad, you need to go and reevaluate that again. You have to re-look all of that stuff over. These are ancient practices that our forefathers had, and our foremothers had, before these books was even manifest and written. It was just passed down verbally. It was just a natural tradition. And you got to even question and wonder, how did they even know this type of stuff? But it shows you that the practice of following these patterns been going on for long before we was even thought of. And what comes around goes around. What goes up must comes down. And what happens above in the stars is going to happen below. So it's good to know how the pattern of these things work. How do you think you find the season or the dates to your religious festivals or your spiritual beliefs? You follow moons, new moons. How you think they knew in ancient times when a judgment was coming or omen of doom? Because they would follow the eclipses. And they tell you that in the 6th and 7th book of Moses. And they even go even further on 9, just so you don't think this is a coincidence and I'm just talking to be talking. My guardian angel number is 36. What is 3 and 6? 9. I was born on the 9th month, the 19th day, the 90th year, exactly 9 o'clock. My angel, my guardian angel name is Mididel. Mididel's number is 36 on the chart. 3 and 6 make 9. Come on, I can even keep going. I told you. My name translates as Jacob, Yakab, the supplementer, And it's not a coincidence. I was born in the new millennium at the time that all these events would take place. You got to realize somebody has to be alive in this time. Trust me, I already knew I had a divine spark since I came out the womb. I was always different. I was always isolated. I was always trying to comprehend what the hell was wrong with other people. And then I used to say to myself, am I the only normal person out here? But what was normal to me was weird to everybody else because everybody was connected to the ways of the world. I was just against everything. I was the one that was just questioning everything. And I'm not saying I'm the only one. It's all of you spiritual lights out there are like that. You just need to look inside yourself, your attributes. Look at your numerology. Look at your mathematics. Look at the magic, the magneticism, the miracle in you. You are a miracle. Salah, so be it. I'm out. Love y'all. Like, share, and subscribe. Deuces.